What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we're gonna go ahead and talk about Need for Speed 2017 again. So essentially, if you guys didn't already know, I'm gonna make this a weekly series on Fridays until I kind of know what I'm doing with Undefeated. And today we're gonna go ahead and talk about the location, because I have got a lot of ideas for the location where I think it should be set. And I imagine a lot of you guys probably already know if you've been following the channel for a while. So Need for Speed's kind of synonymous with the whole Western theme, you know. Pretty much all the Need for Speed games have been in the US or some type of European Western country. You know, there's never been a really Need for Speed game that's been kind of set in Asia, or more specifically Japan. And honestly, do I need to say much more? Japan is, in my opinion at least, the home of underground car culture. That is really where everything stems from, you know. A lot of the wide body trends and all that kind of stuff happened a few years ago in Japan. That's old stuff. You'll find that a lot of the Western countries follow Japan's trends a few years afterwards. Japan is really the center of where car customization and car culture like that is, like tuner customization is. And don't just think Japan is purely only Japanese performance cars, because honestly, it's really not. If you read through pretty much any Speed Hunters article and you look at any of the C1 Loop meets, essentially the C1 Loop is a really famous kind of motorway, or what's the word that Americans use? Highways. You guys say highways. I don't know why you say highways. It's quite clearly a motorway. But anyway, it's a really popular highway or motorway in Japan, and there's kind of like a meeting area where a lot of the races on the actual loop go, and you'll notice that a lot of it isn't Japanese. Like, you can see a lot of Ferraris, a lot of Lambos, a lot of, you know, just really odd stuff, like a lot of Mercs will end up going there, a lot of old Mercs. You'll see a lot of varied cars that actually go to C1 Loop meets, and then obviously on top of that you've got the mountain drifting and all the toge events, and trust me, that's not only just Japanese cars as well. Like, a lot of people take German cars up and do the toge events. Like, I've seen a lot of like E30s and E36s that get taken up there, and I've seen those in YouTube videos and Speed Hunters articles. You know, like, Japan is really varied, and in my opinion it will fit perfectly for a Need for Speed game. So obviously, Need for Speed, the core of Need for Speed is the customization and making a car yours. You know, it's an illegal street racing game where you can make a car yours through the extensive customization. That's the kind of core message of kind of the newer Need for Speeds, I guess. And Japan personifies that perfectly. Let's talk about the actual city itself for a bit. So obviously, you've got different areas. You've got the city areas for the street racing and the street drifting, but as well as that, you know, you're going to have the dockyard areas, especially if you kind of set it somewhere at like a fictional Tokyo or something like that. That could be really cool. But you know, you've got the dockyard areas, then you've got the mountain areas, as well as the Wangan battles. If you guys don't know what Wangan means, because I don't imagine a lot of people will, essentially Wangan battles are highway battles where cars will go ridiculous speeds, like 200 plus miles per hour, and this is a real life thing. There's genuinely people who do this in Japan. And again, when I think of Need for Speed, I just think of all these things. I think of the Wangan battles, I think of the drifting, I think of the customization. You know, like I said, even if you think about it in just a customization standpoint, Japan, it makes so much sense, and it's something so different which we haven't seen in such a long time. You know, we've seen so many games that have been done in just Western countries and countries that are very westernized, but there's just something about Japan which is unique, and it's something different. I don't know, I get bored of just doing the same thing over and over again. You know, the thing is with Japan, it's so varied and it's so different that it makes everything so much more fresh. You know, if you go into Tokyo and you can see the neon light, and it's very compact. Obviously, like I said earlier, perfect for the street racing. You know, you've got that one area, but then there's a complete contrast when you go up to the mountains and the toge events, where everything's kind of flipped up on the other side, where it's not really the same. You know, it's very dark, it's very gritty. You know, there's a high risk to reward. You could even bring back something like falling off the mountains. It sounds really simple and really stupid, but like, it just adds so much more to the game. And if you want to get into really intricate details of how you could incorporate the location into the actual game itself, we could say stuff like there could be different bosses for different areas of the map. So obviously you can have a Wangang boss, and then you can have a street drifting boss, and then you can have a street racing boss, then you can have a toge boss who actually is up in the mountains. You know, you can incorporate different areas of that into the game, and I feel like, you know, even with the modes, you know, it opens up so many more different modes. It allows you to kind of give certain game modes more meaning. You know, for example, outrunning Need for Speed 2015 was wasn't really a thing. It wasn't really challenging. I think that was the issue. But you could really make that a lot more challenging using the whole Wangan C1 loop in Need for Speed 2017. You know, I just feel like there's so much potential that Japan has, and I would personally like to see it capitalized on in Need for Speed 2017. Also, we need parking lot drifting. Like, you know, you remember that scene from Tokyo Drift when they were drifting in the parking lot, like right at the start? We need that in a game. And that pretty much rounds it up for this wishlist video. I could honestly go on for an hour talking about why I think Need for Speed should be in Japan, but what I'm gonna ask of you guys now is if you can tweet this to Need for Speed, Ben Walk, and Ghost. I will leave a click to tweet in the description to hopefully get their attention, and maybe we will see this in the next game. You never know. Obviously, they're going to be listening to ideas now. This is when they're going to be developing the game and you know, making ideas certain, and they're going to be incorporating it into the actual development. So if you do want to see Japan as the location for Need for Speed 2017, go ahead and use that click to tweet, as well as liking the video, subscribing, and staying tuned for more Need for Speed wishlist videos, as well as everything else in between on the channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to go ahead and hit the like, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe and peace.